Start, can you tell us about Assassin, your character, and what drew you to this project?
Yeah, I mean, my character's name is Molly, and she's an artist. And it's a movie written by Jesse Atlas and Aaron Wolf, and also directed by Jesse Atlas. And Assassin, what drew me to it is, I don't get to do a lot of action.
Mm,
Um, my background, I come from more comedy, um, and and this was really such just a fun way for me to jump into a different suit, one would say. And I loved that this film explored a bit of identity,
yeah.
but also just in an psychological minefield, technologically sci-fi space. That was really, really cool.
Played so many incredibly powerful female characters throughout your career. Who were the women in your own life who shaped the storyteller that you are today?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think one person for sure would be my grandmother. Um, and I grew up with her in Cameroon, and I just remember as a kid like sitting on her lap and her singing songs to me and telling me stories. And that, you know, growing up in West Africa and in just this completely different way of life, and the stories that are told there,
Mm.
you know, to me is like the original storytelling, right? It's like those are the stories that were passed down generations to generations. And yeah, so I definitely consider her as a top one.
In addition to the incredible work that you've done on screen, you're also a singer-songwriter. If you had to pick a song of your own that best describes your character's journey or write one for her, what would it be called and what would it be about?
Oh, You Only Live Once, The Strokes. I don't, I think that would be the
Thank
song.
you.
Um, but because also in a way it's, and not, hopefully not to give anything away, but in a way she's living twice because her body
Yeah.
gets taken over by Alexa. And and so you're living as two people but in one body. So do you only live once? I don't know. Especially if you can body hop.
Yeah, that was such a quick, great answer too. And perfect segue with this next question, which I hope it's not really spoilers, but you and Nomzamo are bringing this character to life. What was that collaboration like, and how did your choices inform hers and vice versa?
I mean, she's incredible. She's a powerhouse, and getting to just watch her, and we talked a lot with her and also with Jesse Atlas, the director, of like what are those little things that make her her, so
Mhm.
that way when she's in Mali, you see those things. How does it shift in the body, and keeping it subtle so that way, we're not hitting people over the head with like, I have been taken over, like we didn't want it to be like that. But I got to watch like some playback of
Mm.
like in certain scenes that we would, she would film and then I would film, or we would get to be on set at the same time, so we'd get to watch each other work. And that for me was really cool because instantly as an actor you're like, oh, okay, I saw you do it this way, like, all right. And now, because I know my character, I can kind of pick and choose some of those colors,
Yeah.
and notes. So which was really, really fun.
You've also begun writing your own screenplays. Have you found that the work that you've now done behind the scenes as a writer has impacted the way that you now interpret and analyze characters like the ones that you play in this film?
Oh my gosh, yes. And directing as well.
Yeah.
Like a little over a year ago, I wrote and directed a short film, and that radically shifted the way that I saw characters and and showed up as an actor. And it also
Mm.
gave like an immense, even more amount of respect for what happens behind the scenes. So it really honed my craft as an actor to where the certain questions I ask, the way that I envision the scenes has shifted, and everything has become very specific, even more specific, and really enhanced. So it all feeds each other, which is it's quite amazing.
And something that really stood out to me in this film is that it celebrates strength and vulnerability, and you brought so much nuance to both your characters' journeys. As an actress, how do you create the space for yourself to dive into those moments, and how much does music play a role in your preparation?
It depends, you know. Sometimes, especially if it's an emotional scene, there's certain songs that I'll play that'll just kind
Mm,
of drop me in. Um, like especially if I just need to kind of shut the world out and really go within, then there are those songs that I'll choose based on the character that will kind of get her to that place. Um, but they go hand in hand, right? Like, you know, especially if I, as myself, like showing up on set, like if I'm maybe a little tired and um feeling a bit out of it or whatever, my it's like I know my go-to song. I'm like, she's a bad mama jama by Carl Carlton. As soon as I play that, I'm like, okay, let's go. I am feeling myself. And like it just gets my energy up. So it's like having those songs for myself as an actor within my instrument
mm.
to to prepare me, and prepare my body to really show up as my best self. And it's the same goes for a character. So yeah, they go hand in hand.
Like you were saying earlier, this film was an opportunity for you to dive into kind of the action thriller realm. Was there a scene in particular that you're really excited for your audiences, your fans to see? And how did that physicality allow you to kind of step into your character's shoes?
Oh my gosh, there's this big fight scene between me, Dominic, and Nomzamo.
Yeah.
And that filming that was so much fun. Because there's a moment where Dominic and I are fighting, and I jump on his back, and I'm like choking him out. Um and then he like flips me over. Um and that was really, really fun to play, because I don't normally get to do that. But we had, a stunt coordinator, and we worked on the choreography of it, so everything was safe. I had a stunt woman too, who was doing some of the other more challenging moves. But there was a moment where, like, when I get slammed down onto the ground, and I still had to kind of get that part and film that part. And that your adrenaline is just like
Yeah.
rushing. Um, and like I got winded a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay. Whew, I can't even imagine doing the full flip over, which thankfully I had an amazing stunt woman who helped out on that part. But yeah, so much fun.
Fantastic scene and one of the standouts in the film. And like you were saying earlier, Jesse co-wrote and directed this project. Is the filming experience different when the person who helped create this universe is also at the helm directing? What was that collaboration like working with him and also Aaron?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you've been there since the beginning of this like little nugget of an idea, it adds so much now when you're directing it. And I think, and that spoke volumes on set, because if there was ever a question about like the character's background, or okay, am I missing something? We were filming so fast. I mean, we shot this movie very quickly, and so there wasn't a lot of room to uh guess. So to have both of them there, and also Jesse directing and him knowing the script in and out, it was so helpful, because it made things go faster. Of like, oh, here's a bit of information about this story, as an actor maybe I didn't pick up on. Or even, if I had a question, because he wrote it or co-wrote it and Aaron's there too, I can just quickly ask, like, hey, is
Yeah.
this am I on the right track with this, or no? and them being able to give that instant feedback, it was priceless.
And you were saying also earlier that this film tackles a lot of really timely themes like identity through a sci-fi thriller lens. Why do you think the fusion of these genres lends itself to this type of storytelling?
I mean, I think, because it's the world we live in today.
Mm,
Technology is woven so much through our society today. It's something we rely on every day, that um to me it only makes sense to explore it and see how far we can push it. And I think this film does that. Like, it
yeah.
really, it takes stuff that seems accessible and real and that exists, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, chips exist, yeah, I can buy into that. Okay, we've got the metaverse, and kind of uploading consciousness and finding yourself in the metaverse, like that's real. But then now, like, let's really push it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the beauty of today's film world and the creators and what's being created now, um, is you get to see artists really pushing the envelope.
Mm,
But I think it's because it's still rooted in stuff that's like, this
right.
could
Yeah.
actually happen.
Yeah. And speaking of kind of paving that way, you share this beautiful post on social media that this film celebrates two strong Black female actresses at the forefront of this film. What has this moment meant to you? And have you had time to kind of reflect on your own contributions to this much needed movement of representation?
I don't think I've really sat with it as much as I could, and
Mm,
thank you for that, because life and the way we live now, everything moves so fast. But I think what I am most grateful for, and what I would like to sit with more, is the fact that, the film industry and the landscape of the world that we live in, as far as creators, is really shifting. And there's a lot more diversity on TV and film. There's a lot more inclusivity. And the fact that, there is a movie that's coming out on Friday that has
yeah.
two female Black leads is pretty incredible. And I don't think I've sat with my own part in that. I just think I'm just like, this is amazing. And but it makes me excited, that there are those opportunities. And you look at films like Everything Everywhere All at Once too,
Mm,
and you're like, yes, that's badass. And really creating these opportunities, and I think there's space for that today.
yeah.
And so that gives me a lot of hope, and a lot of excitement, around what's to come,
Yeah.
in this space.
Continue blazing that trail. I think I've got time for one more question. Outside of this film, season 3 of Upload is coming to Prime Video soon. Is there anything that you can tease about what's ahead for your character? And then also, you're such a powerful storyteller. What's left on your bucket list?
Oh my gosh. Well, Upload season 3, hopefully that comes out soon. I mean, where we left off was Nathan and Nora together in the real world. So prepare for some drama and a roller coaster. Prepare, expect the unexpected, basically. It's going to be wild. Um, and what's on my bucket list? I'm very excited about being a part of the Star Wars universe, the Bad Batch season 2, getting to voice one of the characters, which is out on Disney Plus now, and that's also such a dream. Um, and writing and directing my own projects. So it's an incredible time, and
Yeah.
I'm going with it and allowing this wild roller coaster journey of a life take me. So who knows what other stories I'll tell. We'll see what's to come.